looking for opportunities to serve. So I want you to follow this, because this is where we have to change the mindset of our newbies. We're not selling, we're not pushing, we're serving. So I'm offering, would you like to see my product? If the words don't come out of your mouth, that ain't prospecting. Would you like to take a look at the business and set up an appointment? For your people to count it as a prospect, it doesn't count as a prospect from an accountability standpoint if they did not invite them to take a look. They actually have to extend an invitation. Now, I know that some of you might say, okay, yeah, duh, but I guarantee you most of your downline isn't doing it, because 75% of people that are in professional sales don't do it. They just hope they'll ask, hey, I've got a great business I've started. Man, I've got this patch I'm working on my neck. Oh yeah, it's a wonderful product. Would you like to see it? Well, ask me. No, you ask them. So we have to teach our team to be proactive, because 99% of the world is reactive. They wait for something to happen. They wait to be told when to come to work. They wait to be told when to go home. They wait to be told when and if they get a vacation. They wait to be told when and if to get a raise. They're trained by the system to be reactive. We have to teach them to be proactive, which means you don't wait for someone to ask you, you ask them. So it's critical that you teach your new people that prospecting is not prospecting unless there's an offer to look. Okay? That's a big deal. It's also important to teach our team that prospecting is not selling. I guarantee you guys are going to laugh at this. I know a lot of you have probably seen this with your level of experience, is your people go out and they have their 30-second elevator speech, which you've taught them, and they go out to do their 30-second elevator speech, and they're trying to close business in 30 seconds. And so, they go out there, and their idea of prospect is, this company, it's the greatest since Jesus walked on water, and we've got these products that are amazing, and it changes lives, and we've got a binary. You only got to build 2 legs, not 1 leg, not 12 legs, not 5, 2 legs. It's fantastic. We've got this gentleman, he's created this great technology. You put this thing here, and you put this thing here, and you fill this, and you fill this, and the person's looking at you like, I have seen horrific prospecting done because people try to do a presentation when all they should be doing is extending an opportunity to take a look. So make sure you teach your team that prospecting is not selling. Prospecting is beginning a relationship to create a connection. Prospecting is looking for the reason why they would join your group. It's looking for the objection that they would raise that would keep them from joining your group. It's about listening. It's about creating excitement. It's about creating relationship, and then offering, say, hey, do you have time tomorrow? I've got 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Would either of those 2 times work for you to take a look at what we're doing here and see if it might be a fit for you? That's prospecting. And then teach this to your team, folks. Once they say yes, get away from them. Once they say yes, you can only count the chance that they're going to actually show up. Get the appointment and then politely end the conversation and move on. Now, you are a little more professional. You got more experience. You got some rank. You've been doing this for a while. You can get away with continuing it. The newbie, once they get the deal, they need to move on, because otherwise they're going to screw it up. So just teach them that. It really makes a difference. Now, the objective and the only objective in prospecting, this is what you got to drill into your downline. The only objective in prospecting is to set up a time to present. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Not trying to sell you a product today, not trying to put you into business today. I'm trying to create an opportunity to adequately inform you to a level that you can make a decision. That's a presentation. Today, I want an appointment. Make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to teach your team prospecting is about selling the presentation, not the product, not the business, just the opportunity to take a look. So now let's shift and let's focus on step 2 of core elements. What is presenting? Well, presenting is sharing the product, sharing the business. And here is my definition of a classic presentation. Ready for this? Giving enough information for them to make a decision to join. That's a presentation. Giving enough information for them to make a decision to join. Now, let's take this apart. I'm going to take this apart a little more than we did on the last call because I want you all to understand this at a deeper level. What that means is when I go into a presentation, I want to have two critical pieces of information. Critical piece number one is, why are you looking at the product? Why are you looking at the business? So I didn't say this on the last call, but next level prospecting is you want to walk away with the appointment and walk away with why they want to look. So for instance, somebody says, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, I'd love to take a look at your business. Great. Tuesday, 2:00, great. Hey, before I leave, let me ask you a question. What would a successful business do for you? They're going to lay their cards on the table and tell me exactly how to close them in the next 5 seconds. Because by telling me what a successful business would do for them, they're telling me why they're taking a look. So if they come back and say, well, you know what? Just found out wife's pregnant. When we have our baby, it'd be nice to bring her home and be able to have a second income, but be able to do it from the house. Or you know what? Hey, we're getting a little older and we'd like to have some extra money for travel. Or it doesn't matter. I want to know why you're about to join my business, and I'll get to that in just a second. The second thing I'm listening for is clues on things that might keep them from joining. So you've probably already figured out that when you do a presentation, there's usually a why and there's usually an objection. Well, the best presenters know what the objection is and they know what the why is going into the presentation, and here's why. Again, I didn't cover this last time, but this is for you. When I do a presentation, if I know your why is you just found out that you're pregnant, you'd like to be able to leave your job and stay home and raise your children, but also have a second income, what that means to me is when I give you the presentation, my presentation isn't a presentation about LifeWave. It's a presentation on how Susie comes home and raises her children with LifeWave. You see the difference? I don't show the company. I show off your why. I paint a picture. I show you what success looks like. I show you what your life's going to look like when you have the health benefits. I show you what your life's going to look like when this business works for you. And when I show that to you, it's irresistible. So for me to do that, I got to have a little intel. Now, one thing you can teach your team is if they don't get it in the prospecting phase, then I always start every presentation with, Dr. Stacy, before I start showing you this wonderful company, I'd like to ask you, what would a successful business changing your life bring to you? Whatever her answer is, I can start to shift on the fly and integrate that why into the presentation so that I can say, now, obviously, you can see if you do this and you do this, you're going to get this. Wouldn't that be more than enough for you to hit your goal? Oh, yes, it would. Well, guess what we've done? We've just soft closed the deal because they just said I solved their problem. People buy when you solve their problem. And so these are all little things, little nuances, but to be able to really get your close rate through the roof and get your team's close rates through the roof, you have to teach them to go into presentations knowing why they would and why they wouldn't join the business. You've got to have those two pieces of information. If you don't, all you're doing is showing a plan. And if you're showing a plan, close rate's going to be about 10%. So presenting is sharing the business, it's sharing the product, but at this level, it's about sharing it customized for their specific need. But don't overload them in the presentation. Give them enough information to decide. And that's it. Now, we can unpack that one and talk about that one all day. We'll get to that another day because everybody's different. But you just got to learn how to kind of read when is enough. So presenting is connecting to your client. It's about giving the right information based on the answers to your questions. So again, when you are teaching your team you have got to teach these folks how to actually listen. Most people, when they're in sales/presentation mode, when the client is talking, man, they're not even listening. All they hear, it's kind of like the Far Side cartoons, for those of you that remember Far Sides. When you're talking to a cat, here's what a cat hears. Blah, 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 blah. That's what happens when we sell. A professional network marketer, though, when you ask a question, you realize you're about to get all the answers you need to serve this person. And so you quiet your mind, you shut down, and you soak every word that comes out of that human being to make sure you understand them, to make sure that you appreciate them, to make sure that they feel like they've been heard, and that you can take all of that data and further customize your presentation to get them to a perfect decision point to join your team. So listen to the questions, because they're going to tell you, Laura, here's how you put me on your team. Here's how you get me your products. They're going to tell you that when they answer your questions. So number one, ask smart questions. Number two, actually listen. Presenting is not selling, pressuring, arm twisting. Now, this is the A team. This is the group that's got more experience. So I know you all have heard this. You have seen the person that joined the business. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you all a story. My first presentation that I ever did as a professional network marketer some 23 years ago. It was 2002 I joined. It's a long time ago, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. My first presentation, I had been in the business for like 24 hours. I gave the world's first 5-hour presentation on our business model. Now, to this day, I'm not sure what I talked about because I didn't have 5 hours worth of training or knowledge. And to this day, I'm convinced that they came in with the equivalent to your gold pack, because they looked at that pack and they said, this is a small price to get this man out of our house at 11 p.m. It's not the right way to do it. Now, these were some of my best friends, and they did stay in the business for a long time, but I'm still to this day convinced. It's like, listen, give the man $600. He'll leave. He'll go home. We can go to bed. And it was not the right way to do it. I just puked information and I twisted. No, that ain't the way you do it. You're not selling, you're serving. You're not pressuring, you're solving. So you've also seen the person that you drug into the business, and they came in kicking and screaming, and until the day they quit, they never quit kicking and screaming. Folks, when I tell you about compressed momentum here in a few minutes, one thing you do not have time for is kickers and screamers. We don't have time for it. We do not have time for people that don't want to be here. And on top of that, I'm going to tell you, don't make this mistake, and teach your team not to make this mistake. Quit focusing on the people you want it for and start focusing on the people that want it. Now, I don't know why the irony is that the people you desperately want to be in this business don't want to be in this business. I don't have that answer. It happened to me. It happened to you. It happens to everybody. It's just the way the world works. But I learned a long time ago that if I quit trying to drag the people kicking and screaming into my business that I just want it for, and I serve the people that actually saying, Tony, over here, I want it, you're going to grow a lot faster. You're going to replicate a lot faster. And when it's right for those people you want it for, then they'll move, and then it'll work. So just be patient. Now, let's focus on follow-up for a minute. What is follow-up? Follow-up is not sending out a blind email to everybody you've talked to in the last 30 days. Follow-up is not sending a text message. Follow-up is not dialing the phone, and after it rings 2 times, you hang up and go, oh, they didn't answer. Dodge that bullet. That's not follow-up. Follow-up, the way I describe it and the way I replicate in business, follow-up is a face-to-face or word-to-word phone, but it is a conversation about the presentation, including an offer to join. That is a follow-up. If you do not extend an offer to join, I don't count it as a follow-up. If you don't physically have a conversation with them, I don't count it as a follow-up. Now, some of you may say, well, that's mean, that's cruel, that's hard, but you know what? That's why my company mailed me all over the world, because I got a whole bunch of trophies that say I'm really good at this. And the reason is I don't accept excuses. Now, I didn't say this on the last call either, but at this level we can handle. Follow-up is about doing the work right. And that means you have to physically communicate with the person to count it as a follow-up. Because nobody is going to join, or not many people are going to join via email or via text. And I can't easily overcome your objection via text. I can't easily answer your question. I need to be on the phone with you, on Zoom with you, or toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose with you to follow up correctly. So it's a thing where we actually have a conversation. But here's the real truth about follow-up. It's a commitment to serve. I told people all the time, and y'all can use this if it serves you. I would tell people all the time. And actually, I'm going to tell you something I didn't even tell the last group. Two things. Number one, I would tell people all the time, and I know a lot of you are going to resonate with this. Say, listen, if this business isn't for you, I'm okay with that. But I'll fight you to the death to get you on my products because it's that important. I told my people, I said, listen, I will fight you tooth and nail to try my products because I believe in them that wholeheartedly. You don't want the business? That's fine. That really resonated with people because what it said is, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve you. But the other thing I used to tell people is that, you know, if this is something you want to do, it's great. If it's something you don't want to do, it's great. Because the release statement would allow them to relax in the follow-up. Because I'm like, hey, listen, maybe it's for you, maybe it's for not. And listen, either way is okay. Now, a lot of people are afraid to do that. But my close rate was 80%. And I got most people joined. Most people bought the products. And that's because I wasn't selling anything to anybody. I made it very clear, I'm here to serve you. But I also made it very clear, and don't take this the wrong way, because I also didn't say this on the last one. I wanted people to walk away from the presentation knowing that I'm desperate to serve you and help you, but I don't give a flip whether you join or not. And I know that may sound like kind of a, what's that mean? I know there's 8 billion people on planet Earth. 8 billion. Now, I only need a few of that. I need to lick the knife of that population to be one of the biggest distributors in the world. So the odds are in our favor. So out of abundance, it's not that I don't care about you, but if I get any inclination that this isn't for you, I need to move on to the next person that it is for so I can get on with it. So it's not that I don't care about you, it's that if this isn't for you, I'm on to who's next, because I want to talk to the people that want it, because I can't help them if they don't want it. So it's about really creating the fact that we're committed to service in the follow-up and creating the ability for them to make a decision. But if you focused on their why and you've overcome their objection in the presentation, the follow-up, the close, should be academic. Does that make sense? So let's move on. Follow-up is not begging, it's not harassing, it's not annoying. If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. And it's not that we don't want everybody in this business, but I don't have time to beg people to get into this business. Now, in my company that I was with, we sold vitamins. And so a lot of people would say, man, I'm just going to just try my vitamins for a month, try my vitamins for a month, try my vitamins for a month. And these people would just go try to talk people into taking vitamins that didn't take vitamins. And I'm like, man, you are trying to push a boulder up a hill. I go after people that already take vitamins. And so I'll prospect somebody in a GNC and say, hey, if I could show you better product for the same price and could show you how to actually make some money from it, would I have your attention? Yeah, what do you got? Every time. Every time. Because I went after the right people. I went after people that are prospects, not suspects of wasting our time. And that's a big piece of this. Now, if you teach your team to focus on core elements, and we're going to unpack this, and we're going to go deeper on this on our next training, you create replicatable growth, massive action, and success. Because what we do is we train you and your team to focus on prospecting, presenting, follow-up. Prospecting, presenting, follow-up. Folks, it's what gets us paid. So imagine this. This is the starting point for core elements. If someone joins my business and they want to say, where do I start? I want to build a business. I want to be a network marketing professional. How do I do this? Great. Here's how you do it. I want you to do 10 prospects a week, which means you invite them to look at the product, look at the business. I want you to do 2 presentations a week where you show the product or you show the business. And then I want you to do 10 follow-up calls and invite them to buy the product or join the business. 10 to 10. Now, to you folks, that may not sound like a lot, but let me tell you, I put teams around the world, and I'll put your team into massive momentum if you could get the masses. Imagine, some of you may have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000. I don't know how many folks you got in your downline. Maybe someone on this call's got 10,000 people in their downline. Could you imagine if everybody in your organization invited 10 people a week, 2 a day, to take a look, and everybody in your organization showed 2 people the business, and everybody in your organization called 2 people back a day to join? Could you imagine what you would walk across convention? Just soak that up for a second. Take 10 prospects times how many people you have in your organization. Take 2 presentations times everybody you have in your organization. Take 10 follow-ups times everybody you have in your organization. What kind of horsepower would that unleash on your organization if you let that off the chain? 2 a day and follow-up will pay. Now, is that going to make you rich as an individual? No, but it creates momentum and it creates habits for the new network marketer to actually get into momentum. Now, where do we go from there? We go from 10 to 10, and then we work up to a good part-time pace. 20 prospects a week, 4 presentations a week, 20 follow-up calls a week. 20, 4, 20. That's your core element for a good part-time pace. Now, how about a big time part-time pace? 25, 5, 25. Now, that sounds like a lot bigger number. We're talking about showing your opportunity once a day, Monday through Friday, and taking the weekend off. Come on. That's doable by anybody. 5 invitations a day. 5 follow-ups a day. 1 presentation a day. This is where you're at when you're getting ready to go full time. And that's it. And that's still, folks, that's not even half a day's work. Now, what do our full-timers do? Our full-timers will work up to 50, 10, 50 or better. 10 invitations a day. 10 follow-ups a day. 2 presentations a day. Now, if you're a full-time distributor and you do 50, 10, 50, I'm going to promise you, not only are you going to be building a great business, because it's not about the 50, 10, 50 you're doing, it's the 50, 10, 50 you're doing, and the small team that's doing 25, 5, 25, the big team that's doing 20, 4, 20, and the entire rest of your organization is doing 10 to 10. When you put this to work for you, you cannot hold back the reins on your business. It is going to launch like a rocket. But here's the cool thing. You being the person that's doing 50, 10, 50, you have something we call time freedom. Because 50, 10, 50 is not a ton of hours. But if you replicate this for your team, you're going to be making a ton of money. And you're going to be changing a ton of lives and making a ton of difference. And that's what it's about. So, hopefully that sounds good. I know I say, does that sound good? I'm so used to being a live stage speaker. I said, this sounds good? I get feedback. You know what I'm getting right now? Say. Thank you, Dr. Stacy. I got some hands. Okay, that's right. Now we can do the hearing impaired thing. You know, I think that's applause if you're deaf. So anyway, I had some deaf distributors, so I actually learned a little bit of that stuff. My wife's much better at it. I just probably embarrassed myself. But anyway, you get it. I love feedback. So, but I'm telling you, I cannot overstate how big what I just taught you is if you'll just take 2 people, 4 people, 8 people, 16 people, and get this going. Folks, we got 12 weeks to convention. If you would put this to work with the compressed momentum I'm about to teach you here in the next 15 minutes, we need to start thinking about what level, what rank, what income are you going to have when you walk across stage at convention and celebrate your new title. Because I'm telling you, 12 weeks is plenty of time to put this to work and make some serious magic. Now, let's talk about compressed momentum. What is compressed momentum? Well, as I told the last group, you know, one of my big life goals has been to own a fighter jet. I know that may sound like crazy and nuts to some people, but it's just what I want. And it's a lot of fun. And I actually flew it home from Chicago about 3 weeks ago at the beginning of my vacation. So I actually got it out in the hangar right now. If any of you live locally, come see it. It's really cool. But a fighter jet works on the principle of a jet engine. And what a jet engine does is it takes a whole bunch of air in the intake and it puts it in a compressor and it makes the air smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Basically, it packs the molecules tighter and tighter. It compresses it. Then it comes out of the compressor, it's sprayed with kerosene and lit. And it goes through a venturi and it goes out the tailpipe and it literally pushes the aircraft through the air. Now, my jet engine produces about 3,400 pounds of thrust. That equivalates to about 4,500 horsepower. So it's a nice little hot rod. Compressed momentum is a nice little hot rod too. It does the same thing. We're going to take what to most people looks like it should be this much work, and we're going to crush it down to this much work because we are going to become ultra efficient and we are going to obliterate procrastination in ourselves and in our organization. So people don't realize that in direct sales, it's the little stuff that makes the difference. I'll give you an example and then we'll kind of unpack this a little bit. When I would go do recruiting, and oh, by the way, I did 15 presentations a week. When I was out there cranking it, I did a minimum of 3 a day. Sometimes I did as many as 5 or 6 a day, but I averaged 15 presentations a week always throughout my career to get where I'm at. So when I would go out and I would do a presentation, I would talk to people and say, you know what? Yeah, I get all my applications and I put them all in on Friday. Or I get all my applications and I put them in, every 2 or 3 days. I take all my orders and I put them in once a week. Here's what I did. When I would walk out of the Starbucks after doing my presentation, and I had the application in my hand, because keep in mind when I was building, it was back in the early 2000s, there was no Zoom, there was no Skype, it was still pretty much hotels and Starbucks and nose-to-nose, toe-to-toe, and it's been so much easier today. It's wonderful. But when I would walk out of that Starbucks with that application in the hand, as soon as I closed the door and started up the car, before I pulled out, I'd get Tammy on my cell phone. And while I'm driving to the next presentation, I gave her all the information to input that new distributor into our organization, process the credit card, order the product, get it on the way, so that before I even said, hi, thanks for coming today at my next presentation, that distributor was in. Products were ordered. shipping was expedited, and by that night, we had set up their system. We called it downline management, just basically their online portal. But we had them set up by that evening, and their products were in the pipe 30 minutes maybe from the time they handed me their credit card and said, yep, I'm in. That's compressed momentum. That's compressed momentum. So what we've got to look at is kind of the nuances here. People don't pay enough attention to when volume comes in, how volume comes in. They have an attitude of indifference, and it doesn't work. The concept of compressed momentum is the elimination of procrastination. So the elimination of procrastination means you do the hard stuff first, the big stuff first, the important stuff first. In other words, you do it backwards from the way 99% of the world does it. Because most of the world gets up in the morning and they don't even know what their day's for. But you get up as a member of compressed momentum because before you went to bed, you laid out tomorrow. You know what's first, you know what's second, you know what's third. You've laid your day out professionally because you are a professional. And so you've eliminated the ability to do the wrong stuff first and the big stuff last because you've set up your day. So you wake up in the morning and you do the critical functions first. And then if you run out of time or you run out of gas, it's the little things that don't get done, where most people, it's the big things that don't get done because they keep pushing the important stuff off till the end of the day. We don't do that. We eliminate procrastination. We move up appointments. We move up follow-ups. In other words, every communication you have with somebody, and I've got another concept I'll teach y'all called closed-loop communication. You never stop talking to a distributor. You never stop talking to a client until you establish when the next time you're going to talk is. You never leave it open-ended. Hey, I'll call you later this week. No, good luck with that. I'll call you Thursday at 2 o'clock. That's how you end the conversation. So by doing that, what you do is you get that appointment as close to now as you can. Get that follow-up as close to now as you can. Don't let things drag out because everything in network marketing replicates. So if you teach your team follow up in 24 hours, you're going to go twice as fast as the organization that grows follow up in 48 hours or follow up in 72 hours. But actually, it's not twice as fast because as it replicates, it exponentializes. So you basically put the shortest distance between this communication, the next communication, next communication as possible. Rapid enrollment of distributors. Utilize methods to shorten the distance between the next action. So, eliminating procrastination. Why do tomorrow what we can do right now? Opposite of what most people say. Eliminate time wasters. Procrastination is a success destroyer. Procrastination is the cancer of business. You don't have time for it. So don't put things off. You got it, put it in, seize the moment, eliminate buyer's remorse, get it in. Now, I want to talk about shipping. I did a little bit of homework. From what I understand, it costs like $2 to get it in 2 days versus 5 days. So I'm just going to go on record right now and say, if this was my organization and you were in my downline and I found out you saved somebody $2, I wouldn't work with you anymore because that's just it. Now, I didn't say that to the first group because they're brand new. You guys are experienced. It's $2 freaking. Pay it yourself if they won't pay it. Because what happens is we get the product to them 3 days faster, right? 5 days, 2 days. Folks, you have to think about this. If 100 people in your downline order something today and it comes in 5 days, what would be the difference if 100 people ordered the same thing and it came in 2 days? And everybody ran out 3 days faster and ordered 3 days sooner. And that process exponentialized. You can't even process how much money you would make in a year. It's over a factor of 100. That getting them their product 2 days versus 3 days. It cuts down on buyer's remorse. It gets the products in their hand while they're still super excited, and they run out of product faster. You replicate that times your entire organization, it could be a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, of product movement in a year over $2. So train your people. Because listen, if I was saying, Dr. Stacy, man, I'm glad, you're a super successful distributor. You deserve this beautiful new red car you just bought. Now we're going to have this car ready for pickup in 5 days. But for $2, we can have that hot new car to you in 2 days. Now, Dr. Stacy's probably going to come off the $2 to get her new car 3 days earlier. Folks, if you have pitched this business right, if you have pitched this product right, you are offering life-changing information, life-altering information to these people. They're hungry, they're ready for it, they want it. They want their red Ferrari faster. Get it to them faster. It's $2. Rapid enrollment of distributors. The sooner they get it, the sooner, we'll basically put it this way, the success trail. The sooner you place the order, the sooner they get it. The sooner they get it, the sooner they love it. The sooner they love it, the sooner they reorder more. And the sooner they reorder more, the sooner they tell a friend, and the sooner it starts over. Folks, this is what compressed momentum does. It gets air through your business faster, and we use everything. We follow up quick. We present sooner. We do everything sooner. We train sooner. We get goals done sooner. We get all the empty space out so that they get it faster, they love it faster, they share it faster, they refer it faster, and you grow faster. This is a game changer. How many more generations of orders a year could you get in just by picking up the pace? So quit slowing down your success. Do not let procrastination cost you what you deserve, and that is success faster. And, as we wrap up tonight, I really want to express to you how close convention is getting. Man, I look forward to convention every year, because I go into it, I go, I wonder what I'm going to win this year. What trophies I'm going to get? What awards am I going to get? But my ultimate question is, what am I going to show up at convention with on my name tag? What rank am I going to hold? What position in this company am I going to hold? What ribbons? I don't know if y'all do ribbons or not, but I had so many ribbons on my name tag, I almost tripped because they hit the floor. I loved it. And so what are you going to do? How do you want to show up at convention? And more important, how do you want your team to show up? Understand, compressed momentum, it's not about you, folks. It's about the people that were on the last call that are under you. You got to get them to get this. You got to get them to do this. You got to get them to live this and teach this. Because here's the thing. Not only will this grow their business, but I'm going to put my personal development hat on for a minute. How we behave is how we behave. If you eliminate procrastination in their network marketing business, you will eliminate procrastination at their work, at their church, at their marriages, relationships. You will make them a better, they'll have such a better ride through life. Procrastination robs you of success everywhere. But if we kill it here, we kill it everywhere. It changes the person. You realize that when we do this business right, we change lives. We change lives. And this concept here, not only will it blow up your business, but it will allow you to change the lives of the people in your downline. And I'm going to tell you something right now. When you change the lives of the people in your downline, they don't leave. They are loyal. They stay forever. This is a big part of how we do it. So think about methods you can use to shorten the distance, like faster shipping, faster presentations. Eliminate the dead space. Increase the income by shortening the distance between activities that generate income. Use core elements. Get somebody to start. Hey, 10-2-10, 11-3-11. Just inch them up, lobster pot them. So get someone, and we're gonna get to the accountability next time. But I'm gonna teach you how to get them to start this and how to lobster pot it and grow them and inch them towards success. But just keep in mind, this is about replication. So if your team put in one extra generation of distributors a month, think about this. If you were able to add one extra replication a month to your organization by doing what I taught you tonight, what would 12 extra generations of distributors do for you in a year? Just one extra generation a month. That's easy. What would 12 more lines of distributors doing this kind of work do for you in a year? What would that create? What success would it create for them? What success would it create for you? Climb ranks faster than you ever climbed before. You want to be a brand partner, manager, director, senior director, executive director, presidential director. Hey, I got someone that I'm coaching that I'm leaning on to get senior presidential director, and he's got enough time. You on there listening? You got enough time, and as soon as it's over, you need to get back on the phone. So, we got time to make this happen. I want you all to pick what's going to be on your name tag in 3 months when you're at convention. Now, next time we meet, we're going to unpack this even further. We're going to have a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed this tonight, and I'll see you next time.
I love it. Let's go compress momentum in our down learnings.
Oh.
See you guys very soon.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys.